Hi, my name is Minda and I'm a British Indian improviser. This is a short video talking about why diversity and inclusion in improv is not just a numbers game, and it goes along with a blog post that I've written for the Different Women website. So if you want to have a read, please head over there. Okay, so what do I mean when I say improv is not just a numbers game? Well, over the last few months, I've been, as many people have, noticing statements being put out by improv organisations and communities affirming their commitment to diversity, which is great. The thing I find really interesting is that often when improv organisations or communities do talk about diversity, there is a focus on numbers. So, for example, increasing the numbers of people on house teams or in leadership positions, offering out more scholarships, that kind of thing, which is great. Representation is hugely important. Giving people fair opportunities, hugely important, and I am all for all of those things. The problem that I have is that often people seem to think if they can just get people into the room, that will be the problem solved. And it's unfortunately not that simple. Thinking in that way just means you, at best, end up papering over the cracks. So, for example, Monica Gaga has recently written a blog post and also done a video talking about the importance of safe spaces in improv for people of colour. That is an example of thinking beyond just getting people in the room. So what are you changing? What are you doing to make sure that the spaces you're inviting people of colour into are safe? If you don't think about the potential barriers or problems that could arise, then you are potentially inviting people of colour into a situation that could be harmful or upsetting. So I really recommend going and having a read of the blog post that she wrote for that. Here are some things to kind of think about if you are looking to increase numbers of people of colour into your teams or leadership roles, whatever it might be. So if you are looking to audition people of colour, think about what it is you're looking for, whether it's conscious or subconscious. Are you looking for somebody who will fit in? Because that kind of seems like the most obvious thing to do. You want someone who fits in, who also just happens to be a person of colour. The problem with that is that often when we look for people who we think fit in, we are drawn to people who can assimilate. And what I mean by that is leave aspects of themselves outside of the room. So a lot of POC improvisers do this. Just leave chunks of our personalities and our culture and our heritage and our upbringings outside of the room, and we just don't ever mention it in improv because we just assimilate to the dominant culture. So think about what that will mean for bringing somebody into your team. How are you going to change the way you rehearse? What exercises might you do to allow someone to bring all of themselves to improv? You know, don't just assume once they're in a team, it's all fine. They are likely to be drowned out by a dominant culture, so keep that in mind. Another thing to think about is leadership roles. So if you are inviting POC to interview or to be included in leadership teams, think about how much power they're actually going to have. What difference will they make? Do you want someone who's not going to kick up too much of a fuss? Do you want someone who's just going to create a diversity program in their own little silo that doesn't really change too much elsewhere? Power and change are the big differences between diversity and inclusion versus tokenism. The good news is that there are a lot of POC improvisers who are very talented and skilled and experienced, who can take up these positions and should be taking up some of these positions. It's just a case of being listened to, really. Even better news, there are a lot of POC people who may be less experienced but have a lot of transferable skills and knowledge that they can bring to the table, and they have a lot of potential. So rather than trying to come up with schemes that yourself or programs or ideas that you think will increase numbers of people of colour in your organisations and communities, try listening to the people who are already doing the work. Speaking of people already doing the work, I'm one of the organisers of an upcoming event called Race and Improv, an interactive research event on Wednesday the 30th of September. And we're inviting POC improvisers to come and share their experiences and knowledge to feed into a larger project, which will hopefully then go on to make positive changes within organisations and communities. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see some of you there.